Just a friendly reminder that the opinions expressed on this show are not worth a Canadian penny, so disregard anything you hear that might get anyone in trouble. And despite some of the great ideas you may hear, don't try them at home. Go to a friend's house instead.
It's time to get a gun. That's what I've been thinking. Well, I could afford one. And if I did just a little less drinking, time to put something between me and the sun. When the talking is over, it's time to get a gun.
Hello and welcome to Slamfire Radio. This is episode 352 for April 30th, 2020. I'm one of your hosts, Adriel.
I'm the other one of your hosts, Kelly.
And I think Trevor's
Everybody
off playing
else.
with RC cars, and Dave's like tinkering with some graphics cards.
He messaged me. I asked him if he was coming on.
Oh.
Didn't hear from him. Dave, where are you? We miss you.
Dave?
And
Dave's not here.
Trevor, we miss you too.
He's got RC cars to play with.
I know.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
What we did in guns this week is brought to you by the Calgary Shooting Centre, Canada's premier firearms retailer. For the professionals, the SIG P320 full-size Pro features a 4.7-inch compact barrel partnered with the X-Carry grip. It's also outfitted with X-Ray 3 night sights and is optics ready with a removable cover plate.
Okay. Go ahead. Sorry.
Comes with a whole
What were
bunch of
you
stuff. $9.99.
Okay. $9.99. That's actually a good price. But when you say professionals, what exactly do you mean professionals?
I don't know. I think I could buy it. I'm definitely not a professional.
Well, I want to hear professional. There's the Jean Renault, the professional, he took out people. And then there's professionals who work at the corner of, division and, those are pros.
Oh, no, I'm not that kind of professional. I don't have the hair for it.
No, you don't.
No.
No, you don't. You're not that pretty.
No. Oh, come on. That hurts. That hurts.
No. But it's still a good deal.
It is a good deal, and you get a really cool P320.
Yeah.
Did you do anything in guns this week?
Absolutely nothing. I didn't do anything. But we got some good news coming up.
We do?
Things are kind of lightening up. The restrictions are getting lifted.
I got an email today.
We might be starting to do things in guns soon.
I got an email, and they said golf courses are opening up in Alberta. We're next. So we're going to have our ranges open.
So golf
the
courses
Edmonton area.
means ranges.
I think so, because a golf course just outside in the green outdoors, and we can do that with a gun, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't know. Ontario's pretty locked down still.
You guys have more cases than us too.
Yeah, a few.
Yeah.
So the other provinces, not so much here. We're really locked down. Even compared to Quebec. Quebec's opening up a little bit more too. So I don't know. But I hope we're on the other side of things right now. So and then again, as when we had Caitlin Legman on Doctor there, he was talking about the second wave. I don't know how much. I think that we're going to have that as well when we open back up. Yeah. So we'll see what happens. Yep. But it's good news. We might be able to get out the range. We might be able to, just go shooting. Might be able to have small gatherings-ish. Did you guys? So Trevor talked about being able to go and visit somebody, but it has to be like another family, but it has to be the same family has to pick the same family or whatever, right? It's kind of like actually talking about inmates. Anyways, okay. So, is Alberta doing that too? Like, are you guys able to go and do family gatherings now, or?
I don't know. I don't know what bylaw or what ticket you would get for gathering with someone else, if that is a thing in Alberta. I don't believe
we get them for just even being by yourself. So I don't know.
Well, I know that they close the parks, and if you were to go do something in the park, you might catch a ticket for nothing. But I don't know that there's any limit on going to someone's house. I don't even know if there's a ticket for that. So
There
Yeah,
is
I guess
there
I
is in
don't know.
our area, so there is. You can't do that. You're not able to do it.
Interesting.
But that being said, I just said that everything, like Quebec's opening up more, and
Mhm.
our municipal. So Kingston is they closed all the parks and all the trails and everything, but they actually proposed and they're now opening up some of the local parks so that people can go and walk on the trails and things like that. So just in our municipality, it's not a province-wide thing. So I don't know. I'm hoping that it's going to actually mean that we can go shooting soon.
I think
Go
so.
to gun stores and go to, just
Do stuff.
do stuff.
Yeah.
I'm tired of being at home.
Mhm.
All right. I did
That's all
nothing.
for you?
Yeah.
Okay.
What about you?
I made some more 308 rounds.
You did?
I'm now out of 308 bullets. And
Are you out of powder?
no, I still got some powder.
Okay.
So I ran out of bullets first. And then I got some of these cross mags in. I think I've talked about these on the show before. So for a 3-gun, you run like coupled mags, because for 3-gun, you basically, like, it's a belt space problem. In the US, you run like a D60 and maybe like a 30 rounder on your belt just in case. And for your pistol, you'll run 17 round mags, so it's not really a problem. Here in Canada, we have this issue of like just belt space. If you're skinny, it is a big problem being able to have enough pistol mags and rifle mags on your belt. So that's in generally why people run these coupled 10 rounds. Yeah, these are LAR mags. They're 10 rounds. They're coupled in the middle. So if you've got a double mag carrier mag pouch, you're good to go. That's enough. Put one of these in the gun. Put 2 of these on your belt. You're good to go. And that's generally a good way to go. The issues with some of these is mostly in the coupler. I don't know if you've ever seen one of these run at a 3-gun match. Yep. Some of the bolts on the end here don't grab enough of the metal lips, and with enough pressure, they come apart, and the springs go everywhere, and the rounds go everywhere, and they can't take it. The other is that some people find that some people like the straight, some people like curved, and like readjusting them is kind of a pain in the butt.
Yeah.
So, anyways, that's why people run these coupled LAR mags. So the idea with these cross ones, they sent me some to review and try out. I was like, yeah, I wanted to try this. One, I thought new product, Canadian made. I was kind of apprehensive because we've been bitten by a couple of products. But actually, they're pretty good. They're solid little mags. Yeah, the design, the insides, they take a while to design these things, and you can tell because everything from like inside the magazine, they've got like little wear guides in there to keep the springs centered. They've got a nice, decent like lip on the front here that's available on some of the nicer magazines that I've got. And then the couplers are really, really well done as well. Yes. So with these, you twist them apart, and
cool.
There's your 10 rounder, and you could just use it like that. It works just like that, or you can take 2 of them and kind of pop them together. And you can basically like put them in any other arrangement that you want to, which is kind of interesting. So, for example, let's take out my soon-to-be banned AR here. Okay. There it is in a curved configuration, bullets forward, and you can see that this is empty on both sides here. Curved configuration on both, and with this you would grab it and slap it back in, and that's how you get to your second step. Right. Some people, actually, I was talking to a buddy of mine. He's got a bullpup, and he's like, "Oh, it can't do that. It's in your armpit. You can't do this switch thing." So for him, he was saying that's where you would run the bullets front one way and then back the other way. Cool. Imagine this is in your armpit, and this is like really hard to get to. For that, you would just swap it like that. So instead of going the side swap, you would just be going front to back or back to front or whatever which way you want to. So that was kind of interesting.
That was smart.
They're really neatly designed. Let me grab around here and I'll just show you. They come apart, so you can see it's got like a little bit of a slant right now. So I can push this button in here, pull this guy off, turn it around, and then you can get that slant going the other way.
Oh,
So
cool.
that now if I couple them, both bullets facing forward, it's more of like a straight kind of a look to it. And that was fast, right? Like if I were to do that for this thing, I need an Allen key. I need to pull it out. The springs are going to go everywhere because this replaces the floor plate on these magazines, right? So kind of interesting.
So you got sent these.
Yes.
And they asked you to do a little bit of a review on them.
Yep.
Okay. Do you know how readily
it'd be nice to get to the range? It'd be nice to
yeah, I know.
go try them out somewhere that's not like in the middle of nowhere.
But do you know how readily available they are?
Oh, they're all over the place. I've seen it. Yeah. The price is good too. Like they're $55 for that. So 2 mags and the coupler. Which, like, if back in the day, if you would have got LAR mags, it would have been like $25. Would have been like a screaming deal. Right now, they're around $39-ish, depending on which ones you get. That's a good deal for 2 mags and a coupler.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I would consider like this style of coupler to be better than like the metal style ones, right? Because again, just really easy to do. The other thing is if you got one of these mags in here and you grab it and it rips off, you're screwed. Like in a 3-gun match, you're screwed. It's going to spit bullets all over the place. If you grab it, I'm going to purposefully do this. If you grab this one and rip it off, you dump your mag and you pop your ripped off one in there, it'll still just work, right?
Yeah.
So because again, they come with the floor plates on there. So
cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
They're pretty cool. I think even as like if you were to take them hunting, I kind of wanted like a polymer 10-rounder for my WK for hunting coyotes. I didn't have one. I just had like these metal 10-rounders. I kind of like a polymer mag for hunting because it's a little bit less rattly.
Yeah.
And they fit a little bit better in there. There's no rattle with the polymer ones. So kind of nice for that. I think that's all I wanted to say about that.
Okay.
Yeah, they're kind of neat. I made some more 308. With this OIC stuff here, I've got another AR, and I was like, oh well, a bunch of people are like looking for these right now because they really want to get in. So I listed this for sale, and now the CFO's website's down, and they're not going to process any of these. So even if someone's like, yeah, I'll take it, I don't think I'm going to be able to send this to anyone.
To sell it. Yeah. I was thinking about the exact same thing because I have 2 as well. I have a 14.5-inch Norc and I have or NEA, and then I also have the one that I just bought, the Troy.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going, maybe sell one, but I'm going, if it comes in tomorrow and this site's down, I was thinking the exact same thing that you said.
Yeah. And again, that's not because I'm scared of losing it. It's just because I thought, some other people are trying to get in on maybe getting grandfathered or something like that. And maybe I'll try to.
Who was it that, not yesterday, day before? It was some retailer. I saw, I don't know who it was, that said that they sold 400 on Wednesday.
Calgary Shooting Center had some, I think they were Anderson or something like that. They had some lowers for sale, all gone.
That's the first. He sent me an email today saying that they had some still in stock.
I bet you they don't. Bet you they don't now.
They don't now too.
Yeah. They've been rushing to get those in.
Yeah.
I had one that someone mentioned here. Are the mags marked LAR pistol in case you're stopped in challenge? And they are. There's a little like data stamp on there that says it's kind of small. AR-15 pistol magazine, 5.55 10 rounds. So it does say it's a pistol magazine. It is labeled correctly for it. Cool. There was a mag that came in. I can't remember what it was again. And it was not correctly labeled. And that one eventually they asked, and they're like, yeah, that's not labeled correctly. So, good stuff. That's all I did in guns. I might. You
did so much more than me.
Again. I might go for gophers again this weekend because.
Are you?
What else am I going to do? What else am I going to do on a weekend? Go for a hike in the middle of nowhere, or go for a hike in the middle of nowhere with 22
with gophers.
with gophers. Yeah. So I think I might do that.
Okay.
That'll be more fun. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. And then I'm not doing anything else on this OIC because I just can't be bothered. I'm not going to worry about it. I think a lot of people are really anxious about this.
Yeah,
and I think because they don't know. They don't know. There's a lot of anxiety around the not knowing part, and I think it's important to remember that who cares? Like, just wait. They're going to put their thing in. You're going to have a safe queen for 2 years, maybe less, maybe more. And there's other manufacturers that are going to come in and provide products that are going to help with this. So, one example, I've got I'm not scared to say this online, but I've got an AR with a nice 16-inch barrel. I do not want to hand that 16-inch barrel in. I've got another 16-inch barrel that's crappy that I can throw on my AR if I need to turn it in. Spectre Ballistics is going to be making a straight pull, non-restricted AR.
Sweet.
If this whole thing goes down, I'm not handing in my nice barrel. I'm going to pop it on that straight pull, not an AR, manually actuated one, right? So I'm not going to worry about this. I mean, there's nothing I can do to worry about it. So why worry?
No, we can't do anything about it right now. But once we actually do know, but that's actually what's worrying people so much. They don't know. So,
yes. I mean, contact your MP. Talk to people, talk to friends and family, talk to people on Reddit and social media and that kind of thing. And, I think we've got a lot of things going for us. Like the fact that Trudeau, this shooting happened in Nova Scotia, and Trudeau was like, "Oh, well, we're going to put in all this assault rifle." Would that have stopped it? Well, no. Oh, why even bring it up? Why even bring it up? Yeah, this is not an answer to this problem. This is like something tangentially related. Yeah.
I wonder if anybody's actually even asked them that question though during a question period.
They should, because it's egregious in how. It's
how would this
ridiculous.
have stopped it? Yeah. Now the big thing would be, would he actually answer the question? No.
No, he would just give a political non-answer.
Yeah.
I think it's too easy to do that.
Yeah.
That's all I did in guns.
You did a lot. I'm very proud of you.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, you did.
Made some 308. I don't even. Do I have a 308 right now?
I don't know. I know you got a 6.5.
No.
Oh,
no. Okay. I don't have a 308.
So why
right
are you
now.
making 308 then?
I got the cases. I got time on my hands. I made some 4570. I don't have a 45. I haven't had a 4570 for like 5 years. I had the bullets. I had the cases. It's like, okay, I'll make some. I'll assemble them because why not? I have a recipe that I like. If I ever get a Marlin 1895 again, there we go.
Okay. Oh, all right.
Probably will at some point, right?
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
I give you permission.
We'll see. Let's see. Upcoming events. Maybe not.
Maybe. Well, I kind of talked about it, but maybe not. Do we want to talk about the charity
10th annual Podcast Network charity shoot canceled, and that's because of the COVID. And New Brunswick has offered some restrictions that are going to be in place until December, and they're not conducive for an event this size.
No, they basically mean that we won't be able to have it. So the decision was made. Decision being made was Trevor told us it's not happening. Which is fine.
He was doing all the work. So.
Which he's doing all the work, so it's fine.
That's within his rights to cancel it. And I think that it's probably a good thing to just cancel it now rather than wait and be like, now we got to throw this thing together and try to promote that stuff. It's just not
absolutely true. So the decision was made, which was a good call. Thank you for doing that, Trevor. And so I'm sure that we'll work out. Whoever has registered already, we'll contact them, or Trevor will.
Well, we'll still have it up on Practice Score, because the thing that we're still going to do is we're still going to make a donation to a nonprofit. So
right.
which in this case is the Rod Harkwell Memorial Fund.
Right.
So if you are still registered on a practice score, we'll reach out to you. But it's still an option. And if you still want to donate to the Rod Harkwell Memorial Fund, it's still on practice score. You can still just go and register, and proceeds will go there.
Yep. So, yeah, because we still want to make the donation.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Do you want to talk about this EOSC CCFR Ladies' Day?
No, because we don't know what's happening with that.
Okay, fair enough. Let's going into news. This one isn't really news, and if you haven't seen it, I
haven't seen it. No, you get weird stuff, man.
Well, I try to cover like pop culture things that happen every once in a while, and my definition of pop culture is it was like a top Reddit thread in RL for a while. This was a guy who ended up shooting his leg with a 308 rifle. If you haven't seen it, or if you haven't read the whole thing, we can just leave it. Yeah, long story short, like just don't do all the things wrong, and you won't blow off your leg with a 308. But if you leave it loaded in your case and you pull it out of the case and you hit the trigger and it's aimed at your leg, break multiple of the 4 rules of firearm safety, and bad things can happen. Right?
Where was this?
U.S.
U.S.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
don't do that.
Don't do that.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Don't do that. The next one I got here. This is new gun stuff. Let me see if I can share my screen, because that's what I need to do. Let's grab that one.
Volquartsen.
Let me know if you see this. If you see it.
Yeah,
the
it's on the screen.
Habu. Habu? I think it's a Habu.
Habu.
Yeah. So Volquartsen's made a couple of really cool 22 pistols.
Yep.
And this one combines the features of the Scorpion 22 pistol. I shot one of those. Super, super nice. In
you like?
Bonneville. Yeah. Listener, let me.
I remember talking about that.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And super nice. Super, super slick. And this one takes those features of the Scorpion with push-button takedown of the Ruger Mark IV, which is really nice, and kind of just slams it all together. So just like the Scorpion, easier to take down, I think is what we're getting here. Yeah.
Are those the prices? Have gone down. So those prices, are those listed in Canadian or American? I think those are American, right?
Yeah.
Let me double check. Yeah.
Really, really nice pistols, though. And
yes, very nice.
If you want to do like a Steel Challenge or something like that,
yeah, it'd be a good one.
So nice for that. Yeah. Let's see here. The next thing I wanted to talk about. This isn't something I'm into, but someone mentioned it was a new gun thing, and it is a new gun thing. It's the Area 419 Zero press. These are the real beefy presses. Turret press. 9-stage. Holy crap. Like all the stages on this thing. Super high quality, super high price. Very nice though. Very, very nice press. And very large. So
somebody was talking about this last week.
Mr. Mead was the one who brought this up, and I didn't bring it up last week, but I said I'd pull it up today. So there's that guy as well. Stop sharing. There we go. Anyways, that's what's new in guns this week. Did I miss anything?
No.
I don't remember. I'm not paying a lot of attention right now. Yeah.
There's some things going on right now.
There are some things going on right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Why don't we head into the main topic? Joining us this week for the main topic is Tracy Wilson from the CCFR. Tracy, you've been on the show a couple of times. So now, one of the things that happened, was this yesterday, today? There have been rumors swirling around. First, a French CBC Radio Canada reported on this, and now today we're getting some more reports of a potential order in council ban. Maybe tell us a little bit about this. What's this going on? Is this something that we didn't see coming? What's going on right now?
Right. So to be perfectly honest, we've seen this coming since 2015. The Liberals were pretty clear in their election platform that they were planning to do this. They reiterated it in the last federal election. So it's not exactly a surprise, except for the timing. I find it's pretty distasteful to do this on the back of, of course, Canada's terrible tragedy that happened in Nova Scotia. In fact, I've been hearing from members and new members from all over the province who are just completely dismayed at it. But yeah, I mean, we've always criticized the Liberals for their choice in wanting to use an OIC. And I think, when they had a majority government last term, that would have been their time. They did do C-71. It passed by royal assent last May. And of course, if they wanted to do something more, I think that would have been the opportune time to do it because they had a majority government. However, when you do something through legislation, of course, there's debate in the House. There's a committee that's formed. It usually would go before the Public Safety Committee. There would be expert witnesses. There would be evidence. There would be all kinds of things presented so that the experts on that committee who are tasked with, checking out to see if this is what we want to do, they would be able to fully study that. And then, of course, they would vote on it 3 times, put it forward to the Senate, where it would sort of go through almost the same process. And then it is what it is. So, I've always said if there's any merit to banning guns from legal owners in an attempt to stop criminals or madmen from doing whatever they do, then let's debate the merit of that in the proper format. And come what may, right? We would have to study that. Now, of course, in the last federal election, they were reduced to a weakened minority, and I think that makes a big difference. So now, of course, here we are in the middle of a global pandemic. We do not have a properly sitting House of Commons. We do not have representation for the different constituencies across the country in their member of parliaments. People aren't sitting. And then we have this terrible tragedy. So it's just like a strike while the iron's hot type of situation. What will be in that OIC? Of course, there's been the information leaked to various liberal-friendly media, starting, of course, with the Quebec RCI, which is the Quebec portion of CBC. Mm-hmm. Everybody's questioning that, and I don't question it one bit. I think that's exactly where Trudeau wants to pander his gun control ideas, is right in the heart of the gun debate where Pauly-Soussouviens is, right? So it surprises me zero that that's what he did. So tomorrow we will see, nothing is official, of course, until it's published in the Canadian Gazette. So tomorrow all eyes will be on the Gazette as we see what comes in. Some of my sources are leaning towards, instead of tomorrow being where we hear about the ban on the legal ownership of those items, it might be more of a stop to the importation and further sales of the firearms on the list. So, my phone rang 78 times today, and that's not exaggerating. Yeah. So right now we're short-staffed, right? So I've got the CCFR number forwarded to my cell phone, which, please, I'm not encouraging everyone to call me because it's not great. But I had everything from people calling saying, hey, do you know what's happening tomorrow? And it's sort of like, well, all the social media posts put out by the CCFR on Twitter and Facebook are done by me. Plus, my page is very active. I'm putting out everything I possibly can that I know as it happens. I'm usually pretty quick on getting this stuff out before anybody else. So calling me, of course, I can only tell you what I've got. And I'm not a mind reader and I'm not magical. So I don't know what exactly that OIC will be tomorrow. And it is, I don't want to lead people down the garden path either. I mean, the Liberals have been pretty clear they want to do this. However, it wouldn't be the first time they floated something out to gauge the reaction. So nevertheless, our reaction will be swift and merciless. And we did quite a bit of media today. I know Rod was just calling when we started the show. We've barely been able to connect because we're both just scrambling to keep up with interviews. Mm-hmm. I start tomorrow morning. I'm looking at my whiteboard. I'll be on CBC National Radio tomorrow morning at 7:30. So you can catch that show, 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. And then I've got a series of interviews after that. And then Monday, Rod and I will have a better idea of course, what dropped in the OIC, as well as some time to digest it, consult with our legal experts and our opposition members of parliament, and have better ideas. Monday morning, we will be doing CBC syndication. So we did this, I guess, about a year ago. Rod and I did it. Basically, they locked me in a soundproof booth, and I did 4 hours of interviews. So it's exhausting, because here's the thing. They do CBC Regina, CBC Winnipeg, CBC Ottawa, CBC Halifax. So you're in all, it's all timed, but it's the same interview and the same questions over and over and over again for 4 hours. You'll get the odd one that goes offline a little bit and starts asking you some other things. But it's exhausting, but it does at least give gun owners a voice all across the country. And, CBC, as much as, I kick them in the face and, I don't love them. There are a lot of Canadians who otherwise wouldn't hear our point of view and would just swallow whatever they're fed by the Liberals. So,
well, there's no talk radio in my city except for CBC.
Right.
It's everything else is just music. So there are no other options.
Right. So that's why, I chased them around for this. I've been battling them for about a week now, actually, because they did a syndication with the doctors on their letter that they wrote to Justin Trudeau.
Nothing from your side or our side.
No, yeah. And Rod even chimed in on the email chain with the CBC producers, and he was like a little less Rod than he usually is. Like, he was a little crazy in there. So I was like, I guess you're the bad cop today. But yeah, he was pretty snippy, and we decided we'd give them a couple days to come up with an answer. And then, of course, this happened. So I basically wrote her this morning, and I'm like, when is our syndication? Like, I think now we need some vindication. So so we will be on Monday. Rod too. I don't know what that looks like for him on his side of the country, as we're in a 3-hour time difference. So he may be getting up at 3:00 in the morning. It wouldn't be the first time. So yeah, it's gonna be a rough, long haul, but yeah, I think it's important. And my message to Canadians, over and above the fact that anyone who can look at this objectively knows that any sort of gun ban or stopping importation or sales or all of these measures, they're not going to have an impact on crime. Yeah. But over and above that, I want Canadians to really think about what this means for our democratic process. In a democracy, you should be able to have a voice, take forward an issue before your people debate it, study it, and make a proper decision based on the evidence. And if they're willing to do this, I know to a lot of people, maybe our AR-15s and the other guns on the list maybe don't matter to them, but if they're willing to do it with this as a trial run, what else are they willing to legally confiscate from Canadians without so much as a discussion? So, yeah.
Yeah, it's been kind of disgusting. I've seen some of the comments from people mentioning, I think it's okay because I realize it's not going to be effective, but it doesn't affect my property, so I'm okay with that. I've seen some comments from people like that. It's like, oh, that is so naive. Like, you don't realize how idiotic that comment is, because like you said, what else can they confiscate? What else can they do after this that might affect you?
Yep.
Well, that's what everybody says, is what happens after this when crime doesn't drop? Will they give us back our guns? And I say no. They'll say they can go far enough and they'll take more. Mm-hmm. Right? So it's never going to end. And if you have that attitude, I actually made a kind of a bitchy post on my Facebook today about this, because of course people are PMing me and emailing me and calling me and, hey, what about my gun? I've got one of these. And my attitude is, even if I don't have one of any of them, I would be absolutely mortified that my community is going to suffer for crimes they didn't commit. It doesn't matter what's on the list. What matters is there's a list. Mm-hmm. So, I think in the big picture, everything is on the list.
Yeah.
It's just a
I think
matter-
there's, just because of how drawn out this has been, a lot of people have a lot of anxiety around this. A lot of people have like put money and time into making these cool firearms that they use for their hobbies. And now, also with COVID-19 on top of it, I think people are just not able to handle the anxiety from this on top as well. And that's probably why you're getting a lot of calls right now.
Yeah,
Just
absolutely.
they're not suited to handling it.
I am right there with everybody. Everyone's kind of freaking out and unsure what's going to happen and scared and angry. And I am right there with you. I did have some people calling in today. Even I had one guy who literally lost it on me, screaming at me, how useless are you? And why can't you stop this? And called me every name in the book. I did end up having to just hang up because honestly, I had an interview coming up. I have to compose myself. I'm about to go on live radio, and I can't be. Anybody who knows me knows I'd like to remove his head when people talk to me like that. So,
well,
yeah,
and like, what's he doing about it? Does he have another option? Is he going to put a lawsuit forward and try to take on the government on this with some lawyers?
Yeah, right. Because fighting the government, who has an unlimited amount of your money to fight you back, seems like a really awesome idea, right?
Yeah.
So one of the questions, I'm keeping up with the live feed, and I've shared this with the CCFR page as well as some other pages. So there's people that are tuning in, but they're asking, what about the money piece of it? Are they going to pay us for our firearms, or are they just going to not? And if they do actually pay us for firearms, where are they getting the money from? Do they have to go and get separate funding for this? Right now, our economy's in the toilet, so. Right.
So, yeah, there's a couple things there. So basically, when they are going to prohibit or ban something, they have two options. They can grandfather it, let you keep it in your possession. And of course, it's just a delayed confiscation because upon your death, it's not like, you're going to lose it then. Or if they confiscate it in the like near time, what happens is they do have to compensate you for that should you participate in their program. But here's the thing, they are still talking about the buyback program. I hate those words because I didn't buy it from them to begin with. So I'm not buying it back.
All right.
It's your confiscation check is what it is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's one thing is that can't be rolled out tomorrow because that requires a budget item that requires to be passed in the House of Commons. So that portion won't be rolled out or at least detailed tomorrow. However, it is still under their consideration. And a lot of people are saying that to me, well, how can they afford this? And they're right, between the cost of actually paying gun owners for their firearms, as well as the infrastructure that's required to administer a program of this type. This is huge, right? First of all, you have to employ people to administer the program, to take the firearms in, evaluate them, give you your check. Then there's the case of you're going to have this massive amount of guns, assuming people participate. I don't want to go down that road, but you can catch my drift. But what do you do with that after? The government would be responsible for destroying them. If you think about it, even if 20% of gun owners complied, that would still be an enormous amount of firearms to get rid of. So there is a huge expense. And yeah, this is a time when Canada really can't afford to waste money on things like that. But Trudeau's been spending money. Granted, it's been COVID relief funds, but he's been spending like a drunken farm wife after harvest, just doling out the money for every single thing. Even the CFL is after him for some cash now.
Yep. And
he's almost $200 billion in debt in 1 month. Do we really think he's going to blink at another billion to keep being safe?
No.
Not one bit.
No.
Yeah. So I think that some people are jumping the gun on this because that bit of legislation will take time. An OIC is anytime they want to, they flick the switch and they can by name ban some guns. So maybe just to kind of tick this off the list, we've got this list of 11 firearms that have been named. I think there's been some news reports that have named the 11 firearms as well. Have you heard of this? What do you have them in front of you? Would you be able to tell us about which firearms are at least rumored to be banned? Because no one knows until this thing actually gets hit. Like if it's 11, if it's 11 plus 1, if it's variants, if it's not variants.
Right. Yeah, there'll be some. I think there'll be some variants too. But on my list, I've got the AR-10, AR-15. Of course, there's all kinds of variants of that. The Ruger Mini 14, the Swiss Arms Classic Green model, the M14, the VZ58, the CZ Scorpion, a Beretta CX4 Storm. Yeah.
Looks
the
too cool.
Hour, yeah, I know. 6 Hour MCX and MPX, and the Robinson Armament XCR. Interestingly enough, there's also another category that is included in this list. I'm just looking it up here from my source. I put on my short list, I put 50 cals. But that's not entirely accurate. So the list will also include 2 other categories. So anything that is a caliber more than 20 mm.
Okay.
Anything with an initial energy of more than 10,000 joules. So that will, of course, catch quite a few 50 BMGs. Some people are saying not all of them. That's not really my area of expertise. But as you can imagine, that's bad news, right? So...
Yeah, one of the things that I think I saw in one of those lists was they had listed shootings beside of each of those guns, but like they had to use American ones in there because some of those have never been used in a Canada mass shooting.
Yeah,
a lot of them.
I've got that in front of me, and that I know where that information came. I've got it in front of me. So they've got the carbine M16, M4, AR-10, and AR-15, and beside it they've got dramas by Sandy Hook, Las Vegas, and Orlando in the United States, and Christchurch in New Zealand.
Okay.
So they've listed that. And then the Ruger Mini 14, of course, is from Polytechnique.
Yeah.
The VZ58 is from the Quebec Mosque shooting. Brett is from Dawson College. You know, it's funny because I was on an interview today and with Mark Kelly from CBC, from the Fifth Estate, actually, and we were talking about this. And he said, well, you know, what's your take on this? If it was used in these murders, you know, obviously it's a very dangerous firearm. And I said to him, are you kidding me? Okay, let's just take what's most recent here, this tragedy that's happened in Nova Scotia. Everybody wants to know what kind of gun he used. And in the big picture, it doesn't even matter. You could do what he did with a pump action shotgun.
Definitely.
Completely realistic here. Just because it was used, it would be the same as banning a Honda Civic because it's, you know, no other car has killed more people in drunk driving accidents. Like, come on. This is just somebody picked something. And, you know, and I said, if you want to talk about lethality and dangerousness, every gun in the wrong hands is dangerous. Look at the Parliament Hill shooter. He killed Corporal Cirillo at the War Monument, made a 200-meter dash across the front lawn of Parliament Hill, you know, with security there, made it all the way across the lawn, made it up the stairs and into the building, and almost all the way to the back to the library with a lever-action hunting rifle. Like, if we continue to focus on the tool and not on the madman, this violence is just going to continue. It's insane.
Okay, so the tool, you're right. There's people that do these things, and it's going to be whatever is available, whether it's a van, whether it's a knife, whatever. We're going to continue to see it. Anyways, so let's go back to the AR-10, AR-15s, M16. What are the quantities of all of these that are currently available here in Canada? Do you know that?
Yeah, so in that first section, which I believe from my information here, they've combined them together, the carbine M15, M4, AR-10, and AR-15. Estimated number in circulation is just under 84,000. So that's pretty significant, right? Like that's a lot of guns. And then I've got estimated totals beside each of those. And then of course the estimated retail value. So when you start adding this stuff up, I have actually yet to do that. I just haven't had a chance today. When you start adding that up, it's significant because it's so wasteful. And I mean, you know, we've got all kinds of crises going on. Everybody wants their bailout and their help in this terrible pandemic that we're going through. And here we've got, another $1 billion boondoggle, our friend Gary Mauser would say, right?
Yeah, at minimum. Yeah, like we don't know what they're going to include with it. Like there's 100,000 AR-15s ish registered in Canada. As soon as you go to, like, I'm a little bit worried about if they choose to go with the variant on that, because their idea of variant is
broad,
pretty ambiguous, pretty broad. Yeah. And if they include that, that'll include a lot of stuff, a lot of weird stuff.
Yeah, it's it is terrifying. And I think I've seen, quite a few comments today where people are like, "Oh, thank God none of mine are on there." And and I think they're all on the list. This is the first wave. And like I said, when we don't see a drop in crime or homicide in this country, that's exactly.
Or another mass shooting happens and they do it with a pump shotgun. Yeah. Because in Australia, a pump shotgun is a rapid fire firearm, and they're
of course
restricted more than other shotguns are.
Yeah. Well, and I even noticed an article today. It said the title was "It's Time to End Duck Hunting in Canada."
I saw that too.
You see, hunters, it's not just us black gun owners, right? Like, don't worry, they want yours too.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's going to be a really tough battle, and I just need people to, we got to stay calm. I know everybody's upset and freaking out. We've got to be kind to each other and understand that we are all in this together. And let's plan and prepare, but let's not lose our stuff until we see what happens tomorrow. Okay. Like I said, I don't know, maybe I'm being optimistic, but sometimes I have seen them float stuff just to get a reaction. And, or this could be simply the stopping of the importation and further sales, which would be absolutely devastating to our industry. But then, of course, you're looking at a two-step process. None of this is going to be quick. And even in their original plans for a ban, they had talked about a 2-year amnesty. So they're not.
It might be like if they do an OIC, it might be 2 years of your guns are locked up at home and no ATTs because they're prohibited.
Right.
Yeah, which is likely the likely path for the next.
Yeah.
So there's some questions with respect to that. So has the OIC received royal assent yet?
It doesn't, or no OIC.
Or will it? It doesn't need to.
No, it doesn't need.
That's right.
It requires no vote. It just requires the Governor General to sign off on it. And she's not likely to take a hard stance against Trudeau on her.
Right. So the other piece on it, so you think that it's going to take a couple of years to come into effect?
Well, I mean, they could very well drop the OIC tomorrow. May or may not be the actual ban. It may be the stoppage of sales and then an OIC to follow, in weeks or days or months. That could be the ban. Either way, they've promised, because of the buyback rather than the grandfathering, they've promised since the beginning of a 2-year amnesty. If they pull that back, I don't know. I mean, they have to be reasonable, and that is what they promise. I don't know how to say that in a nice way, but it would be very difficult for them to go back on what has been in their election platform to elections running. It would be very difficult to pull that back now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Not to throw like more hearsay in here, but Wolverine Supplies is reporting that the RCMP's, the CFO office and their website are down. PAL verification and transfer portals are down for maintenance and changes until tomorrow afternoon. And They were not able to provide any information. And that's from Wolverine and Delask are both reporting this right now.
Yeah, so it's interesting.
Something's going down.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, stuff is going down. Things are happening. I did have a conversation today with MP Glenn Mott, who, of course, is the Deputy Shadow Minister for Public Safety. And he's an excellent resource and an excellent champion for us. And we were talking about a bunch of things. I tasked his Chief of Staff with an issue that I noticed. I noticed this actually a couple months ago, and then I noticed it again the other day. If you remember, you could Google continuous eligibility screening, and the RCMP had a page that described how our daily background checks, how they work, right?
Yeah.
And I noticed a while ago that page was down, and I thought, well, maybe it's down for maintenance. So I noticed the other day it was still down, and it's been over a month. So I got a hold of Sean and I said, I don't feel good about this. I think like that was a nice piece to have, because when people said, oh, you don't get a daily background check, I could slap that down. It's an RCMP resource. And right. And I noticed it's gone. And I'm like, I don't like that. So then we started hearing reports today of other parts of the RCMP website being down. The whole thing about not processing new PALs or renewals during the pandemic, because we're in a pandemic, doesn't actually make sense if they're done online. I recognize that perhaps there might be an issue with the printing of new cards, because the CCFR is also in that same boat. However, yeah, there's a bunch of things that have lined up like that, where it does look a little concerning. And there's something is going to happen tomorrow for sure. Yeah.
Okay. So we just got a question from somebody about, and I saw this a lot on the CCFR webpage or page today on Facebook, and people are messaging as well. People are talking about doing individual lawsuits or
challenges, I think, on the reclassification.
Right. So there's the 70 chapter 74 challenge. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So that's normally when your restricted firearm is reclassified, they're assuming that we will be issued a revocation certificate for that registration.
Right.
So that would possibly, well, they'll be denied, but it's a great stalling tactic. That's assuming that that's how they're going to do it. They're not stupid. They know that everybody's looking at that, because of course everyone's posting it and spamming it all over, and they are watching. They watch us very closely. They watch all of us. And so they are aware of that. So I don't know if they would try and include some type of measure or mechanism where, it's just reclassified without revoking your registration, maybe just altering it and issuing a new one. I don't know. We'll have to literally wait and see what happens. I know that's not what people want to hear. Everybody's eager and they want to know what they can do right now. But right now, all you can do is contact your MP, contact Bill Blair, make their lives miserable, share the stuff all over, tag them in it. If you're on Twitter, tag them in it. Just get it out there all over. Tomorrow, when we know, we will know. And from there, we can take the appropriate steps. We've got a legal team looking at this. We've got opposition members and members of parliament looking at this. There's some talk about doing something together, all the organizations. So hopefully we can get that worked out in the coming days, and we'll know a little more. But yeah, if that is an option, we will absolutely pursue it. We will leave no stone unturned, no avenue unchecked. If there's anything and everything we can do, we are going to do it.
Okay. So one last question. So the question is, if they ban sales of, let's say, an AR-15s tomorrow, when does it come into effect? Is it tomorrow? Or is it?
Yeah, I believe, I guess it would depend what date they put on their OIC, but I would believe that they would want to make it immediately. So yeah, I think anybody with a transfer in limbo, I'm not sure how that would go. I know though, if it is, either way, a lot of people are going to be hurt here, whether it's a ban on against the gun owners or a stop on the importation and sales. Either way, there's going to be a lot of devastated people. I feel terrible for our partners in the industry. A lot of these shops are family-owned, mom-and-pop shops, been running for generations, just like Wolverine Supplies, and to leave them hanging with an entire stock that's now unsellable, like it could ruin a business very quickly.
Well, it will ruin some of the businesses. Yeah, some of them are going to have guns banned, or they're going to have, maybe they make accessories, and those accessories aren't going to be able to sell if the AR platform is banned.
Yeah, think of the money that they've sunk into their inventory that would now be unsellable, right?
Yeah.
So it could be devastating. And even a trickle down. You've got 40,000 Canadians employed in the industry directly. If shops have their inventory cut and their profit margins cut and everything's cut, the next thing that's going to have to be cut, unfortunately, is staff, right? So you're talking job losses, you're talking store closures. You may even be talking about range closures if ranges can't support, can't be supported by people who no longer can go to the range. So,
yeah, it's unfortunate. Kelly, do you have any other questions?
No, I don't really. No, nope, I'm good. Thanks.
No, we're acting on half information right now. We'll have full and I think a lot of people are demanding like a reaction right now, but you can't react to something that hasn't happened yet. I think that we'll have to wait. We'll have to wait for the thing to happen before we can react to it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I know, just one last note, I know everyone's been asking too, where's the official opposition on this? They're in the same boat. In fact, well, they're not in the same boat, because we can go out there and do media on this and make posts and scream and yell and stomp our feet and get our people motivated and harassing Bill Blair and start embarrassing them ahead of time. The opposition can't. Until something is actually tabled or presented, you're yelling at a leaked story to media, which could be exactly that. And they would absolutely love to see the Conservatives jump all over this, yell and scream, so that they could make them look uncaring right after a terrible tragedy just happened in Nova Scotia. So,
well, the funny thing is,
they're on it.
Yeah, I think that that a lot of people maybe don't realize that this law wouldn't have done anything to stop either this latest shooting or the one before, the Danforth shooting. This law doesn't properly address either of those. Wouldn't have slowed them down at all.
No.
Oh no, it has. No, this these words on paper aren't going to have any effect on unfortunately the tragedies that have happened, and sadly the ones that might yet be, right? So I've said that quite a few times today, that until we start focusing on some of the root causes and some preventative measures and some societal issues, and I know that sounds hokey, but those are the things that we need to focus on, not on what piece of polymer they picked up, right?
Yeah, perfect. Cool. So you're going to be on the radio. Are you going to go take a nap right now so you can get ready for this blockbuster day you've got coming up?
Oh, well, yeah, we've got a 2-day marathon coming up, but we're up for it. Rod and I usually both make talking notes and points, and we have different perspectives on things sometimes, and then we share them back and forth. He's a great mentor. And of course, y'all know how well he represents us as gun owners in the media. I'm a little saucier, but we're getting there. So we're going to do our very best to make sure that Canadian gun owners have a voice in the mainstream media over the next few days. And we'll be reporting back to everybody. So follow us on social media, keep an eye on the website, and keep united. Stay together, guys.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks again for coming on and giving us that update, Tracy.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, guys. You have a great night.
You too. Everybody's just saying thank you very much. That's the whole stream. You guys rock, Tracy, they said. So
I love y'all. Okay.
Thank you. Bye.
Later. And thanks again to Tracy for coming on and telling us about all that stuff coming up. Sounds like it's pretty imminent here. And I think we've had a couple of warnings. We've talked about it a couple times on the show. It's more of get on with it so we can react and we can do something about this.
Yep.
Yeah. Listener feedback. You've been watching the Facebook feed there. Has anyone come up with any questions that we need to kind of jump on?
Yeah, no, not really. You covered the one that came up there. So nope, we're good.
157 comments. Holy crap. There are a lot of people who are.
There was a lot of people that were paying attention and commenting as Tracy was talking. So yeah. So if you have any questions, just head on over through Facebook there. Mm-hmm.
Listener feedback. Listener feedback is sponsored by Armory DC Gunsmith. Armory DC Gunsmith is a full-service gunsmith who specializes in firearms refinishing. He offers hot bluing, parkerizing, Cerakote finishes, as well as wood refinishing. Check out his online inventory of new and used guns, firearms, accessories, optics, and more at dcgunsmith.ca. Our first one's from Jason B. Jason says, "Hi, everyone. Hope everyone's doing well. Like most right now, I'm trying to get some reloading done, and I've hit a snag. I've cleaned, deprimed, resized, and reprimed 100 pieces of .303 British brass for use in my Lee Enfield. I loaded 20 rounds with 42 grains of H414 powder and Hornady .303 312 150 grain interlock bullets. I checked the overall specs before and after with a digital caliper. Everything went smoothly. I am using a Lee .303 British hand loader to resize the brass and do all the reload functions. It's slow, but I have nothing but time now. I ran out of those Hornady bullets, so I switched over to Sierra .303 180 grain Spitzer bullets and Hot Core .303 150 grain bullets I had on hand. Whenever I go to seat these bullets into the case head becomes deformed. See picture. Any recommendations for a new reloader on how to fix this without having to buy a multi-stage reloader and dies?"
So I inserted the picture. You have a chance to look at it. So it is. That's pretty deformed.
I don't actually know what's going on with this picture. I like sometimes if your case is too long and the die, but I don't know how you seat bullets with that particular reloader. I would think that what's happened, if I could describe the photo for you guys, is that the case shoulder is all wrinkled and pushed down.
Yep.
I've seen where they balloon out at the case shoulder a little bit, and that's typically because your crimp is trying to crimp too much, and it can't, and it ends up pushing the case down from the top.
But this looks like the bullet was seated in it and it pushed it down.
Yeah,
it's too long. The case is too long.
The wrinkling is, or the way that he's seating the bullet isn't appropriate. Like one of the things that there's kind of two adjustments. I've never used one of the hammer ones, like because he's talking about using the hammer dealie there, right? And I've never used one.
Are you able to put the picture up that people are asking to see it?
Yeah, maybe someone else knows what's going on. 1 second. Let's pop that over here. Let's share screen, and you guys can take a look at this bad boy and see what your idea is. But like with a standard die, you have you screw the die in or out of the press to get your crimp, and then that top piece there is how deep the bullet goes in.
Yeah.
And I would assume that if I saw that with a normal loader, that the die has been cranked in instead of the seating piece there. But I don't know. Again, with the hammer ones, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what that would cause, or what would cause that.
Yeah.
Something's not right though. All right, that's enough.
One comment is
got a good chance to look at it.
Neck tension. I don't.
It looks horrible. These look horrible, though.
It looks like,
it's wrinkled them all the way down into the shoulder. I would imagine it's pushing the neck way down.
Way down.
Yeah.
I wonder what the bullet difference is.
I don't think that it is a bullet difference. I think something else is causing the difference, and that's like the red herring. I changed the bullets and also changed my pants, but now my legs are cold, right?
Okay, so what we need to do is we need to see a picture of the bullets. We need to see a picture of everything.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, but again, I'm not familiar enough with those hand loaders.
Casing not properly tapered to accept the projectile. So that's what.
I mean, the bullet could be impacting the casing. If the casing wasn't. If the neck isn't the right diameter on the inside, that would cause it. If you've just outside sized it a little bit too tight, and then you get a bullet and they strike on the top, that could crumple it down. Yep, that might be doing it. Doug was saying flat base versus boat tail projectiles.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe that flat base is again catching on that rim, and it's just too tight of a tolerance on it. One
Okay.
can only guess.
Yeah. Luke says somebody needs a good massage therapist. Okay, Luke. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you want to take the next one?
Okay, so this is from Tim. It says, "Hey everyone, I absolutely love the show and listen every week. I just noticed that Firearm Outlet Canada has listed the Gersan MC9T Extreme, and it really caught my attention. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this pistol. Thank you in advance, Tim."
I think we talked about that 2 weeks ago. It came up and it looked neat.
Neat. Yeah.
The price on them, like it's still a Turkish handgun. Like the reason I like the MC9 is it's $300. So
Yeah,
like the price
cheap.
is right. It's cheap. Yeah. As soon as it starts getting more than that, I kind of like you get into the price range where you can start to buy some of the name brand firearms, and I might be more willing to buy one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For that price though, just buy it, and then if it doesn't work,
well, it's
out,
like like with a high
sell it.
performance gun, you kind of want something that you can buy aftermarket parts for it if you want it to go fast, right?
Yeah.
This is $570.
Yeah.
And you need to, and there won't be any go fast parts you can get other than the gun itself. They
No.
do look cool though. Like they're a cool looking gun. 569 includes the red dot too, and then the slide cuts and all that kind of stuff. So it is a pretty cool gun. But you're real close to
better price gun.
The Canik. You're really close to the Canik, which is another favorite, off-brand inexpensive pistol. And for $569, you could probably buy a used Glock at this point.
Yeah.
Not with a red dot and all that other cool stuff, but it could soon have that.
So Jeremy Crane actually says if it's the only gun you can afford, buy it. If not, then buy something else.
True.
I agree with him.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Yeah. Do you want me to take Carson as well?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. So from Carson, it says, "Hi guys, this one's for Adriel in specific. In the shotgun show, you kept buying. Okay. How about not hunting deer with a shotgun? However, not that far away is a zone where you're limited to not rifles. The Strathcona whitetail deer license gets person 3 tags. Shotgun, muzzleloader, bow, or crossbow. If a person doesn't have the other option, then a shotgun is cheaper to get ready to go with." This is Carson.
And between shotgun, muzzleloader, bow, or crossbow, the shotgun's probably like the highest tech, most likely to get your game of those. Muzzleloaders are pretty good, but you're doing a similar thing. You're still doing the sable round to handle that.
Right.
Strathcona whitetail, man, that's close to the city.
Yep.
I don't have any land out there. If I knew of some land, maybe I would do that one.
Well, maybe you know of, what's his name? Carson.
Maybe.
Carson. Maybe Carson will take you out.
Maybe.
Okay.
All right. Next one's from Jerome. Hello, everyone. Thanks again for a great podcart. The inside joke there and the bonus content. Oak Island was a really nice change of pace, and I learned a lot. I wanted to finally meet you guys at this year's charity shoot. If it is still held, I might extend my Atlantic Canada road trip to Nova Scotia. Not so much. In other news, I was helping a new PAL holder who was looking for his first 22. While browsing Gunpost in search of an appropriate pairing, I think I struck gold twice.
No,
Ladies and gentlemen, for your eyes only, the Chiappa Tactical Badger. Because no survival rifle is complete without a bipod, almost as big as the gun, and some kind of knockoff ACOG.
Yeah.
Because I like to share my feelings, I'll also let you experience the absolute horror induced by the vision of a bedazzled, bubbed Anschutz. I have provided you the link to both of these bespoke pieces at the end of the email. I figured everyone could use a laugh these days, especially at the expense of Tactical Timmy and Billy Bob Fudd. I send you my best wishes in these tough times and hope to see you this summer. From Jay. And I'll put those in the show notes when
they're hilarious. I think they're fun.
Is that bedliner on that Anschutz?
I don't.
It's black.
It's black. I don't know. Uh, anyways, they're funny. Can you put them can you use one of them as the show photo? I think that needs to happen. Okay.
Yeah.
And that's Jerome. Remember, we keep arguing about his name.
Jerome. Jay.
Jay. He's shortened it to Jay for us.
Oh, thank you, Jay. Now I don't have to put a French accent on it. Do you want to take this one from Edmund?
Sure. So it says, hi, guys and gal. A couple of questions for Adriel. Have you escaped from Tarkov yet? Oh, he's talking about your...
Yes.
Yes.
I have, in fact, sometimes, but not very much.
And how's the Epic 22 LR accuracy compilation coming along, he says. You haven't done anything because you haven't been able to go to the range.
They're sitting on. No, I'm done shooting. All the targets are sitting over there. It's like a epic measuring contest now. But it's all done. All shooting's done. Everything. Yeah. Just need to compile, do a video.
Okay.
I got a couple of videos I got to do.
All right. So he's he's followed up. It's a little bit of a long email as well. So I'll try and get through it and we can talk about it as we go. I read some more information on the Nova Scotia mass murder. Excuse me. He was reported to own multiple homes. In one case, someone claimed his family home was stolen from him under a dubious contract. I
heard of this.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know anything about that. After eviction, the denturist emptied the contents in front of the alleged victim with a smile on his face. This shows his psychopathic mentality. The previous owners talked to police and they told him this isn't the first time he's done this. The mass murderer was also reported to be jealous and possessive of his girlfriend. Yeah, you could say. There were some red flags all over this guy if allegations were true. There's also a deafening silence about what firearms he used. Yes, there is. This leads me to suspect that he had a plain hunting rifle. As you know, the leftist mainstream media would be all over this if it had been a military-style assault weapon.
Yeah, can I jump in on the military-style assault? So someone asked, I think someone from the NFA asked on the call, was a military-style assault weapon used? And they gave a very specific answer. They said he was in possession of a military-style assault weapon. So we don't really know if that was the patrol carbine from the RCMP officer that he shot and took her sidearm. Yep. Because they also, someone had asked, like, hey, did she have an assault carbine? And they're like, well, it was in her possession. There was one in her possession. It's like, wow, really? That's the answer you guys are giving? Let's just come out and say it. So some of it might have been done. Yeah. I mean, the other thing, I don't know if he mentioned in here, but the other thing is that out of this spree, 9 of the people that died from fire, from arson,
which is just horrible.
But it's our latest Canadian mass homicide, the biggest one for 30 years, was all because this guy was creative, used this police uniform and police facade and all this stuff to completely evade the police, completely get people's trust in a short period of time, and exploit an aspect of our society.
Right. I said last week, last week? Yeah, last week, that before all the reports came out, that they had reported that the wife/girlfriend had been a victim, and she wasn't. So
I thought she was a victim of an assault. Right?
Assault, but no, she wasn't killed. So she was she was the witness that they said that came forward in the morning. So. He planned this, and again, just like you had said there, Edmund, he's psychopath. I believe that as well. So, it was premeditated. Let's go on. It was great to hear from serious shotgunner, and that would be Jason he's talking about. I'd like to hear, like to add that ammo brand can affect your shooting. Absolutely. I recently learned that a couple of cases of shells I'd bought don't shoot well in my target guns. It was a known brand with a good reputation, but I just couldn't find the lead or the lead or the hold that worked correctly in 8 games of trap between the two guns. Once I went back to my previous ammo brand, my score jumped back from 12 up to 22, and we see that with the owl shooting. So the brand of ammo or the brand of shells that he was using just didn't work well on his gun.
Interesting. I've had like reliability issues. Like I've had Challenger for a couple of years. I ran only Challenger for a while, and then it started getting going. Like reliability got really bad for a couple of years there, so I stopped using it and just used Winchester, and it's been fine. But yeah, that's interesting. He's talking about like actual change to pattern and where it's maybe even POI.
Maybe
or pattern,
or
like
I'm thinking probably pattern, because if you can consistently shoot like 22 down to 12 and back up to 22,
that's a big difference. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
No.
Interesting.
As for slug hunting, salvo slugs are the best for downrange energy and accuracy, but Federal True Ball slugs are inexpensive options with less accuracy that works well from a smooth bore. It's the best option in slug hunting for the pores. I love that word, pores. I've successfully used both types of slugs to bag game. The salvo round I used was a Winchester partition.
Ooh, fancy
3-inch
partition
Magnum. It sports a 385 grain 50 caliber Nosler partition bullet that gets launched at 2,000 feet per second. The word I use to describe the recoil is vicious. That's a good word. Not only does it jar your whole body, upper body, when it slams backwards, the rifling imparts a twist into the stock as it digs into your shoulder. I've never felt recoil like that before. I literally saw stars. It's the one thing that you're, when you're setting in at the bench and practicing offhand shooting on flat ground, it's another when you're climbing a slope and need to hastily get off a shot at fleeing game. I almost lost my balance, my hat, as my scope came back and tapped the brim, but the wild boar didn't make it far before dropping. Well, good for you, Edmund. Keep up the good work and the extra podcasts, Edmund.
I would love to go slug hunting boars. So much fun. Next one's from Jeff. Hey, I just wanted to say I love your podcast. It keeps me entertained on my long drive to Barrie from Mississauga every morning. I just started listening to you guys last fall, but have already listened to over half of your podcasts. You're all very funny. My favorite thing about you three is how much you troll each other. Keep up the good work. That's one of our favorite pastimes. Mine definitely.
It is. You're the nice one. That's what I've been told. Yeah. You're the nice one.
Nice, sometimes, yeah. I have one question for you. After this tragedy that happened in Nova Scotia, what do you think are the chances of the Liberals being able to actually ban our semi-automatic rifles? Pretty good! I've been in denial of this, and I'm in the middle of collecting parts and building 2 AR-15 rifles in 5.56 and 6.5 Grendel. P.S. I just became a Patreon member on your last podcast on shotguns. At the end, I heard you talking about a new Patreon member who hadn't emailed you his address and for him to do it so that AJL could send him a patch. I'd love a patch, so here's my address. I'm not going to read it on there, though. Not that part. No.
Well, I didn't put it on there. Yeah, that's pretty much what our show is about tonight. But
AR-15 is specifically named as one of the ones that's going to be banned or prohibited. So might be collecting parts that ultimately you're going to be handing in, or just hang on to them and build them into one of these other weird guns, because we're gonna have that as an option as well. And plus, we don't know if this will include the Modern Sporter, the SLR, any of these other things. And if it doesn't, put them on one of those. Still have the parts, right? As long as they're not 16 inches or something like that. Short barrel, right? Yep. You can use a short barrel on that manual action, because on the manual action you're doing OAL, and you'll hit your OAL just fine with a 16-inch barrel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. There is another email. It's just from James B. It just came in, so I'll read it. It says, I'm so glad isolation is getting over. I finished 3 books, and believe me, that's a lot of coloring. Here's an idea, and try it out. Type in the Googler on the Confuser. So go into Google and type in AGW SLR Firearm Canada and read the most asked questions. There's some doozies. So some words for wisdom from the smallest mini snap says, use hand sanitizer before you touch your face. James B. That's Ginger Snap. So he wants us all to go over to Google and actually just type in AGW SLR Firearm Canada and look at the comments. Apparently it's pretty entertaining. So thank you. Everybody go over and do that now.
I didn't find anything.
Oh. Okay.
Maybe his Google works differently.
Maybe
it's like a New Brunswick Googler that like Googles weird stuff.
Googler on the Confuser. Okay.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
okay.
Mm-hmm. Indeed.
Right. That's it.
If you'd like to send us an email, send your email to slamfireradio@gmail.com. Podcast app reviews, we don't have any of those, but if you like to listen to the podcast on one of them apps, go ahead and review us. It just helps with getting the word out there. Patreon supporters, I have nothing to do tonight, so I will get your addresses on a piece of paper and put that in put it in the mail. Get some patches out to you guys.
We got a new one.
Yeah, sweet. Send some patches out. I got lots of patches.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying we got a new Patreon-y. Jeff P. $10.
That's the same Jeff. Oh, look at that.
He said, I just signed up.
There we go.
So I put it in there.
Awesome. If you'd like to sign up, head on over to patreon.com/Slamfire Radio, or go to slamfireradio.com, and we got the button on there somewhere. We've also got a spot on our website where if you're going to buy something from Cabela's, head on in through Cabela's. Go to slamfireradio.com, click on the Cabela's thingamabobber there, and then when you buy it from Cabela's will be like, oh, those Slamfire guys sent this person. We'll kick them back like, I don't know,
thousands of dollars.
Thousands and thousands and tens of it. Helicopter fuel's expensive, and you got to get that beluga whale caviar and cocaine and all this other kind of stuff we got to do on the show.
How big is beluga whale caviar?
I've had whale. I've never had beluga whale caviar. I've just had the whale, not the caviar.
Where'd you have beluga whale?
China.
Oh, Garth.
I don't know if it was beluga whale. I know it was whale. Okay. I'm on a quest to try to eat everything.
No, don't bring the COVID.
Too late. COVID's already here. All right. Shout outs.
No, I don't have any.
I wanted to give Tracy a shout out.
Yeah.
Like half an hour before the show, we're like, oh man, we got to get Tracy on. This is like off the hook. And she's like, yep. And she just came right on. So
yeah, we're very lucky to have her.
Yeah, that was really
basically
nice. Yeah.
Come on at the last minute. Like, how busy is she? Like, seriously. Right now, her
thing is
going
like
to be crazy busy.
It's not just like showing up on our show, whatever. Showing up on the CBC radio, like, what happens if someone trips you up? What happens if you like say something? Like the pressure is very high, and I'm glad I don't have to do that because I can deal with pressure, but man, I get verbal diarrhea sometimes. I don't think I would want to be on the radio like that.
Rod and Tracy both actually speak very well for gun owners in Canada. And they actually, I have never seen either of them being tripped up. one of the reasons is because they're both very truthful, and they're also very they're passionate as well, but they know how to actually say something without and get the message across. So
They can talk real good.
They talk real good, but I really respect the both of them, and I thank both of them for representing us as well. So, because it's going to be a little bit of a bumpy ride for the next little while.
Yeah,
we'll know more tomorrow.
Yeah. Finally, join a National Firearms Association like the CCFR. Check us out on Gun Owners of Canada, and like us on Facebook. It says we're at 240. I think we're at more than that. Probably like 2,400, something like that. Anyways, like us on Facebook, and you'll get news that we share on there. We shared that French article fairly quickly, and we also have cool guests on, like Tracy. So the way that you get notified of that is if you like us on Facebook, and you'll see when we put these videos live. We'll be continuing to do the coronavirus microcasts on all sorts of weird topics. If you have a weird topic that you want to come on and talk about, send us an email, slamfireradio@gmail.com. We're open for pretty much anything these days.
Not too weird, though.
Yes. We reserve the right to say, sorry, weirdo. We don't want your topic, and get out.
We're going to have another microcast on Sunday. We're going to have Tim Crosno join us.
Yeah, I like Tim.
Yeah, I like Tim too.
I went to a city, and I didn't even let him know I was going, and I'm just like, yo, I'm here, and he's like, let's go do something.
Yeah. He's going to be talking about some stuff down in Texas. So if anybody has any questions, barbecue. Hey, we can ask them about barbecue. Not really. Okay. All right. So we'll see everybody on Sunday. Same time.
Yeah, probably.
That's it. Okay.
Later, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
So if you have any comments or questions for the show, please send an email to slamfireradio@gmail.com. Now go grab a gun and shoot something.
When the talking is over, it's time to get a gun.